God put this message on my heart because a lot of us have things inside of us, whether it be a dream, whether it be a vision, whether it be somewhere you're trying to go. But we sit on it. We don't act on it. We get discouraged. We get fearful. And lately, because of the things that He has planted inside of me, because of the different visions and dreams that He has given me, and the tools that He has given me to make these things come to pass, I felt that why not share it with you? If you have something that you want to do, why not speak life over it and tell you that you can do it? I'm going to make this thing real simple. Birthing your dream is like birthing a baby. It's the same thing. So the first thing you have to do is shack up your vision. This is Sex Education 101. A male and a female come together. They have sexual intercourse. There's a possibility that a baby could be created. This may be out of wedlock, which you should wait until you're married. But sometimes it happens like that. This may be in your marriage. So the way to shack up your vision is to ask yourself, what is it? What is this thing that is inside of me that I want to do? So do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a lawyer? Do you want to be a CEO, business owner? Maybe you want to open your own nonprofit organization. Maybe your dream is just getting out of the hood, getting out of your current situation. Maybe your vision is going back to school. Maybe you're a young mother, you want to go back to school. So when you acknowledge what this thing is, when you acknowledge what is inside of you, that is how you begin to plant this seed. In Genesis 17:15, God tells Abraham that his wife Sarai or Sarah is going to have a baby. She's 90 years old, but God tells Abraham that this is what's going to happen. So He puts the seed inside of Abraham. So Abraham now has to acknowledge what this thing is. So after a male and a female have this intercourse, the way that a female recognizes that she could possibly be pregnant is by missing her cycle. So she misses her cycle, and then she starts to think like, what happened? What exactly transpired? Where did this come from? How did this happen? So she starts to think that there's a possibility that she could be pregnant. So with your dream, when you're birthing your dream, you have to think first, where did it come from? Did it come from God? Did God put this inside of you? Did this come from your passions, what you love to do, things that you are passionate about? Did this come from things that you enjoy doing? So you have to acknowledge what this dream is, and then you have to ask yourself, okay, where did this even come from? Because that is important. That will explain what your motives are. So when a female is suspicious that she could possibly be pregnant, she knows that she has to take a test, a pregnancy test, which I recommend going to the doctor to make sure that it's legit. So you must take a test on your dream. And when you do this, how am I doing this? Who can benefit from this? Can only I benefit from this? Or can God get the glory out of this? Can only I benefit from this? Or can my family benefit? Can only I benefit from this? Or can my community? Can someone who's in need or something that's in need benefit from this thing that's inside of me? Ask yourself that. I remember one time I wanted to do an organization, and I actually deceived myself about what my motives were. I told myself, you know, I can use this to promote change, to make a difference in the community, to bring people to God. I completely convinced myself that my motives for this thing were it. See, the world tells us, follow your heart, follow your heart. No, because out of a man's heart come evil desires. Mark 7:21, for within out of the heart of a man proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, wickedness, deceit, evil, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. These things rest in a man's heart. It's for you to seek God, for Him to reveal those things for you. And for me, I was deceived. And it wasn't until I received rejection with this organization that I realized, okay, you know what? My motives weren't even right. God didn't even plant that inside of me. I knew that me doing this would not benefit anybody except for me. It was the spirit of pride. So that's why you have to take this test. You have to ask yourself, what are my motives? Why am I even doing this? And you have to be honest with yourself. One thing about a pregnancy test, when you go to the doctor, it doesn't lie. It tells you the truth. Yes or no. It tells you the truth. It's honest. So, and don't be like how I was, deceiving my own self. You can't be deceived because God cannot be mocked. So when you take this test, be for real with yourself, because here's the thing. When you do something for self-gratification and self-seeking purposes, three things that happen. One, it'll either fail. Two, it either won't last. Or three, when you get there, you'll be like, now what? You won't be happy. You won't be satisfied. You won't feel fulfilled. And you see these people on TV, you see these celebrities, and they have this happy life and this great life, and we look on there and we realize that they give us what we want to see. They give us what we pay them to see. They don't tell us that when they lay their head down at night that the devil just runs rapid in their mind. They don't tell us the type of spiritual attacks that they have to deal with. They don't tell us that they walk in fear. They don't tell us that they try to pray to God. They try to reach out to him, but they just can't hear him. They just can't feel him. They don't even know where he is. They have this total disconnect from God. And here we are looking at these celebrities thinking like, wow, goals, relationship goals, career goals. We're looking at them, loving hip hop on Thursday, and we're just like, wow, I love this. I love this. I love this. And we just allow all that to feed us. And it just deceives us. It deceives us because it makes us want to desire to be like that, or want to have that life, want to be rich. So that's why you got to ask yourself, is this dream something God gave me? Or is it something that I seen on TV? Is it something that I read in a post? Is it something that will satisfy my fleshly desires, that will make me rich, that will make me temporarily happy? You have to ask yourself, what is the motives? So you have to make sure that you take this test before you proceed with something that you feel like is inside of you, ready to be birthed. So you took the test and you realized, okay, I am pregnant. You go to the doctor, you realize, yes, you are pregnant. You took the test asking yourself what your motives are for this particular thing, and you realize, I'm not doing this to satisfy myself. I'm doing this because this can benefit somebody else. God can get the glory, or my community can benefit. I'm not the only one that can benefit from this thing. A lot of other people can too. And after being honest with yourself, if that's your answer, then you go with it. So next, you need a plan. When you find out that you're pregnant, you need a plan, and your thoughts are just running rapid. You're asking yourself, what am I going to do? Who am I going to tell first? What should I do? You don't automatically just act. First, you just think and you try to process this thing. It's the same thing with your dream. You have to think, how is this thing going to be? So what I suggest is that you write it down. When it comes to your mind, when God plants it inside of you, when this vision is inside of you, make sure you write it down. Last summer, 2014, I started the ODU Connect Coalition at my school. And how I came up with this idea, people always ask me like, well, how did you think of that? Like, I wish I thought of that. Or they're just saying, they think it's a great idea. For one, God gave this to me. It's not like I just had a marvelous idea, like I'm a genius or something. He planted this thing inside of me. I was laying down, about to go to sleep, and I was just thinking about my school. I was thinking about my experiences and what I felt would benefit. And God gave me the ODU Connect Coalition. So I got up out of bed and I started writing everything down, all of my ideas, focusing on unity, focusing on bringing organizations together. And some things didn't make sense at first, but I still wrote it down. That's what you have to do with your vision. Just write everything down. Get it all out. What is being placed on your heart? You just got to get it all out. All right, so let's keep going with this thing. When you find out that you're pregnant, you may have mixed emotions. You may be very happy and joyous, but then you also may be fearful and doubtful. You may think this is not a good time for that. You may think you don't have the finances for it, but at the same time, you understand that something very precious is inside of you. So you're also happy. So you have all these mixed emotions. It's the same thing with birthing a dream. You have so many mixed emotions because you're like, wow, this could be great. This could be big. This could go very far. This could cause so much change in my environment. But then you also have other emotions. You have the spirit of fear. You have discouragement. You may think, oh, I'm not qualified enough for that, or oh, I'm not smart enough for that, or I don't have the money for it, or this area is just not the best place. This is not the best time. And your thoughts can run so rapid that you can actually talk yourself out of your dream. You can talk yourself out of it by being fearful, by being discouraged, by not thinking that you have what it takes. And you got to understand that if this thing is inside of you, if this thing means the world to you, you do have everything that it takes. So you know what I say? Acknowledge your feelings. If you're fearful, acknowledge it. I am scared. I can't do this. I don't have what it takes. I'm not smart enough. God put it inside of me to go to law school and be an attorney. The first thing I was thinking is, nah, I'm not smart enough. I'm not rigorous enough. I'm lazy half of the time. The grades I get now, that's just me barely doing my work. There's no way I can go to law school. I can't afford that. I'm still borrowing money at ODU. All these thoughts just running rapid where I discourage myself out of something that God clearly put inside of me. So you know what I had to do? I had to recognize what my feelings were. I had to recognize that I was scared. I had to recognize that I was discouraged. And you know what you do next? You bind it up in the name of Jesus and you cast it to the pits of hell from which it came. You call them out. You call all the discouragements and the fears out, and you cast them to hell, and they're done with. And the next time they sneak up in your mind, the next time they try to come back and discourage you, you do the same thing. You bind them up in the name of Jesus, because the devil will do everything in his power to stop you from doing something great. All right, let's keep rolling. So you find out that you're pregnant. What's the next thing that you do? Well, you have something inside of you that is growing. So you have to feed it. You have to nourish it. You have to take care of this precious life that is inside of you. And you have to speak to it. It's the same thing with your dream. You have to feed it with knowledge. You have to nourish it with research. You have to connect with people, and you have to speak life to it. I will be a doctor. I will be a lawyer. I will go to the NBA. You know, I will go to the NFL. I don't care what stands up against me. I will open up my own business. Heck, I will be, you know, a manager at Walmart. It could be anything. I will get out of the hood. I will get out of this situation. I will go back to school even though I'm a young mother. All you have to do is speak life to this thing, and then you will really start to believe it, and you will speak this thing into existence. The power of life and death is truly in the power of the tongue. You got to understand that you're going to have to walk by faith and not fear. Understand that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, and that you can cast all your anxieties and your cares unto him because he cares for you. And most importantly, that greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Greater is the child, the life that is inside of you, than the child that's in the world. It's inside of you. It's yours. What does that mean? That means that they can say whatever they want. They can gossip. They can say that you're not qualified. You're not smart enough. You don't got the resources. You can't come up out of the hood. They can say that you're too young to be a mother. Let them talk, because this is your thing. This is your baby. This is yours. Take ownership of that thing. This is your dream. This is your vision that God has given you. This is yours. So take ownership of it, and tell them that when they look at your stomach and it's starting to get big, tell them that when they see that your dream is starting to flourish and it's starting to get big, tell them that they can look, they can talk, but they can't touch this thing because it's yours. You know, sometimes I ask, you know, some young women that I know who are carrying children, you know, is it uncomfortable when you try to lay down and go to sleep when the baby is moving around? You know, I ask them things like this. Well, let me ask you something. This dream that's inside of you that you really want to do, is it uncomfortable trying to hold it inside of you and not let it birth, trying to cage it and protect it and discourage everything from it and not let it birth? Is that uncomfortable? Let me tell you why it's uncomfortable. Because when you have something so great inside of you and you're trying to cage it in and not letting it flourish or birth, it's going to be uncomfortable unless you release it. So you have this dream and you understand what you have to do to put this thing to work. You understand the plan, the route that you're going to have to take. Well, you also have to understand that it's going to be a process. Just like a baby inside of you, when it develops, when it's growing, it's a process. It's not just boom, okay, I'm here. You don't just go into labor as soon as you get pregnant. No, it takes 9 months for this baby to develop. It's the same thing with your dream. You got to be patient. You have to give it time. You have to allow it to grow and develop. You can't rush. You have to be steadfast and wait on God. Even though they want to, I'm sure mothers, after a while, they're just like, okay, get this baby out of me. Like, I'm ready. But you got to understand that the baby isn't ready yet. It isn't fully developed, flourished. It's not all the way healthy and ready to be birthed. It's the same thing with your dream. Just be patient. Understand that you're going to have some painful times. You're going to have some rejection through this process. You're going to have some discouragement, and some days are going to be better than others. But just endure the process and realize that one day you're going to birth this thing, and when you birth it, nothing is going to be able to stop or hinder it. Now, during this process, you have to protect this thing. So don't just allow a whole bunch of negativity around you when you're pregnant. Don't allow, you know, smoking and drinking and just all these bad environments around you when you're pregnant, because it's going to minister to your child, and it's going to sink into your child because they're inside of you and they are living and they can hear as well. So when it comes to your dream, don't just allow any old body to give you advice, any old body to tell you what you should do or discourage you. Any type of negative influences that may distract you or hinder you, don't allow that around you. You have to change your environment. And if you can't change your environment, change the way that you perceive your environment. You know, you might have to go to yourself, be alone, and work on this thing, grind by yourself, because this is your thing. This is your dream. This is your baby, and nobody quite understands it the way that you do. Nobody is quite as passionate about it as you are. I can't expect everybody to be passionate about the King's Daughter like it is to me, because because God gave me that vision. It's my baby, so I'm going to take it on. I'm going to put it on my back. And I got to watch who gives me advice. I got to watch who tells me different things, because at the end of the day, this is what God put inside of you. All right, let's keep rolling. So during this process, what are you allowing to feed you? When you're pregnant, are you smoking weed? When you're pregnant, are you chewing tobacco? When you're pregnant, are you drinking alcohol? What are you allowing to feed your baby? When you have a dream, when you have something inside of you that you're trying to do, what are you allowing to feed or minister to you? When I say minister, most people think of it in a spiritual sense. Now, ministering is whatever you allow to get inside of you to affect how you feel or what you do. Is it your boyfriend telling you to come over and chill? Is it your girls telling you to come out with you and party when you know that God has put something inside of you, when you know you got a dream or a vision inside of you?